Hi everyone! Today we'll make these lovely city bookmarks that are super fun to create and are extremely beginner friendly. And they are very easy to customize. And you can also use any color of your choice and be fully creative. For the first bookmark, apply clean water on the entire paper. Then at the top, apply a dilute mixture of alizarin crimson. And towards the bottom, do a layer of cadmium yellow pale. Then blend the colors in the middle. While it's still wet, take slightly concentrated alizarin crimson to make fluffy clouds. I'm making them at a slight angle. You can make them a bit straighter if you want. And I'm not dragging my brush across. Instead, I'm dropping in the paint gently, since it will help the paint spread better, and we'll get nice soft clouds. And to create more depth, I'll make the ones at the top a bit larger than the ones at the bottom, which will be thinner and smaller. Let this dry completely, then make an electric pole. You can use any dark paint for that, but I'm using a black marker and a gel pen for this. So if you search for the reference photos of these poles, you'll find that they have many different designs, and each one may look different, and you can choose which one you want to make. But for today, I opted for this simple one. To make this particular pole, first make a straight line, then make 2 horizontal lines with small dots on them. Then add in the wires however you prefer. You can make them slightly curved, overlap some of them, or even add some tangles. It's really up to you. You can make whatever comes to your mind. These bookmarks are incredibly fast to create, and if you use a hairdryer to speed up the drying process, you can make them fairly quickly. So for those days when you want to paint something fun and relaxing, but don't want to spend a lot of time, this can be the perfect idea for you. And with this, we can now move on to our next bookmark. Now for the second bookmark, I've applied masking tape in the middle because I wanted to make a straight line between the top and the bottom sections. And I thought that the unpainted portion will hide once I add the buildings. But I was wrong. If I were to make this bookmark again, I won't tape the middle part. With that being said, I have first applied clean water on the upper section. I did a base layer with a very light yellow. While it was still wet, I dropped in some purple lake and alizarin crimson. As it started to dry, I continued adding pigment to create some blooms. This happens naturally when you add wet paint to a damp surface. This portion represents the sky, and here you can choose any color you want to define the mood of the bookmark. Now for this section, apply clean water, and first do a layer with cerulean blue. Then drop in some ultramarine and cobalt blue and some purple. Again, I would like to mention that although these are the colors I'm using, but feel free to customize yours if you want a different look. Here I waited for a bit before adding in more colors, and the paper is damp and not fully wet. That's why it's creating these lovely blooms. Now I'm adding more pigment to the upper section as it's still damp. Next, I added a few drops of clean water to both sections. This will push the paint back, creating even more blooms. Now, let everything dry completely. And use some dark paint to make the buildings. You can also use markers for this if you want. Paint these on both sides to create a reflection. Try your best to make them the same, but it's okay if the reflection isn't an exact match. And I'm leaving small gaps to suggest some windows.
For your security, please keep your luggage under surveillance and report any suspicious item to the staff. May I also remind you to label your luggage with your name and address. Thank you for your cooperation. You will find a barcode in the middle of the train. For international first-class passengers, a meal is offered at your seat. Please use your mobile phone with consideration to fellow passengers and take your calls from the vestibule.
At this point, I realized I didn't like this white space. So I decided to fill it in. Now, continue adding more buildings on both sides, and you can vary their shape and design according to your liking. Again, I tried to cover this part, as I was not happy with the straight line, so I spread the paint in an irregular manner. And now we can move on to the next one. For the third bookmark, apply clean water to the entire surface. Then from the bottom, start painting with a mixture of alizarin crimson and cobalt blue. And here I recommend making a rough sketch of the lamppost first, as I forgot to leave that area unpainted, so I had to lift some of the paint later. Then on the upper portion, do a layer of alizarin crimson and cerulean blue. Let it dry completely. Then add some trees with a dark color of your choice. Now make the lamppost with some dark color. You can also apply yellow in here, but I wanted to make it white light, so I'm leaving it as it is, and I'm also going to ignore these for now. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like this seascape tutorial. So be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.